If you look at the back of my garage, you can kind of see there's shelves with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of shelves in the back of the garage. Kind of hard to really mount the fan there, and I also have an upside attic space in the garage with a ladder. You can see the ladder up there. I'm pointing to it with the camera. So I can't really mount the exhaust fan there. I have a window on the right side of the garage. You can see the light coming out. So the best place I decided to mount the exhaust fan was right there in that direction. And I'm going to show you exactly which area I'm talking about. Now I'm going to zoom into the areas I was interested in to mount the actual exhaust fan. So I was initially thinking about mounting it. Let me just go there and show you. My best option right now, I'm going to show you, is to mount the exhaust fan right up there. There's only one nail sticking out of the piece of wood there, so this would be the best option. The other areas, this section, that section, and these two have a lot more nails. So I'm going to plan on putting the exhaust fan right up there. I want to keep it high so it doesn't get in the way of other people cannot access it. It's high enough so no one get their fingers in it or anything else. So I'm going to keep it actually up here. That's my plan. First things I do before I do anything else, I go inside the installation manual and try to find out what the model number is of this particular fan that we're talking about, the fan in the distance there. And I did find that the model number in the manual actually corresponds to this one right here. I actually circled it, and it tells you the recommended opening size in the wall should be 10.5 inches. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a square opening 10.5 inches, and that should allow me to put this whole section within facing the outside, while I can mount this on the wooden surface inside the garage. So it only 10.5 inches would actually make all of this fit. But the challenge is actually cutting it in the right place, because I have the interior wood pieces I have to cut out, and then I also have stucco I need to cut out from the outside, so I need to make sure both line up. I actually measure this square section here, which should stick outside, and make sure it would fall under 10.5 inches. It looks to be okay based on my measurements with the ruler. I just don't want to cut the hole and find out, oops, this is slightly larger than what the manual says. So it's always good to check something beforehand. I mean, don't accept the manual as the Bible. So I would definitely recommend measuring the opening, the exhaust fan itself, and confirming that it's going to fit a 10.5 inch opening. But it looks like in this case it will fit a 10.5 inch opening. So what I have done here, I need an opening of 10.5 inches. So there's like little slats of wood. There's this piece of wood is one piece. There's another one up here. There's another one down here. So to minimize the amount of cutting I have to do in different sections of board, I took the measurements of the 10.5 from the bottom of this piece of board. So you can kind of see a gap there. I took the measurement for the lower 10.5 inches from here, and then I marked a line right up here on both sides. So that way I only have to cut this section and a little bit of this section up here to make it fit. So that's what I'm doing here again. And then I would have to draw a straight line between the two after I put the measurements in. So, and then I also have to measure, 10.5 and center it right here so I'll have enough space to actually mount the screws onto the frame. That's the idea. It was basically try to find out where I should cut the wood from both of these studs. And what I did is the spacing here is 14.5 inches. I need 10.5 inches centered in the middle, so I took out 2 inches on the left side and 2 inches on the right side and drew a line. You can kind of see the line that I drew. So that's where, so it gives me ample room for the exhaust to actually sit on and be mounted to. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually cut this kind of like this. Cut this section off. I'll have to cut the wood here. I'll have to cut the stucco, the little metal mesh that's on the outside. And maybe there might be some insulation I might have to pull out too. First thing I have to do is to drill a hole. And I want to drill a hole in the center of the square. I basically measured 5¼ inches from the left side of this line and from the bottom of this wood slat. 5¼ inches. I drew a crosshairs right there. And I'm going to drill a hole from this side, and then I'm going to have to finish up the hole so I could break through the stucco on the other side of the building, the outside of the garage. And once I get the location there, I can actually measure the same dimensions from the center point of this location from the outside of the garage, so I know exactly where to cut the stucco. That's my next step right now. So I want to show what an air hammer chisel actually looks like and what it does. So I'm going to kind of show you this one. You can see it's really close to the roof line. That's where I actually punched the hole. So I'm actually going to have to go down a feet or about 15 inches down from there and create a new hole, because I won't be able to put the exhaust right here as you see it. So that's what I'm going to do from the inside, drop it down like 15 inches. So that I can clear the roof on the other side. That's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, I put the second hole here, which is about 5½ inches below this one, the first one. So what I've essentially done right now is I've created a square. My initial hole was here. I created a new center hole, and then I measured off 5¼ inches from the center hole here and then to the top. And I basically created a square to determine the borders of where I'm going to cut. So I'm going to make a hole in this corner here, on the bottom here, on the top here, on the top right here, and the bottom right. So I'll have 4 more holes. It'll be easier to see from the outside where exactly the square would be on the outside, because if I measure it on the outside directly right now, I may not get it lined up exactly. So I drew a square inside here. I'm going to drill 4 more holes on the borders, on the corners of those 4 holes, and on the outside I'll know exactly where to cut. I'm going to start by cutting the holes in the wood portion of the wall right here. So I'm going to start 4 holes. to, with the air compressor, to break through the stucco portion, the masonry portion of the exterior wall. So that's my next step.